Welcome to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I'm your host, Jeannie Hall, and I'm a creative inspiration coach who helps writers reignite their creative sparks. This podcast is here to help you knock down any barriers that stand between you and your dreams. You can do it. Join me. Hello, and welcome to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. This is episode 38. No coincidences. So today I'm going to talk about how to make your dreams come true. And part of that is understanding that there really are no coincidences. So if you're sitting there shaking your head going, whatever, Jeannie, there are totally coincidences, okay? If that's you, that's okay. But I'm going to make an argument in this podcast that there are no coincidences. So check it out. Okay, so have you ever had something wonderful happen in your life, but you just brushed it off as a mere coincidence? Or did you feel like it was meant to happen? Like it was just the right place and the right time? So part of studying Abraham and the law of attraction has taught me that those times of like kismet or right time, right place were not actually coincidences. They were really times when I was in alignment with what I wanted. So when my school went on a field trip with another school that was a full 70 miles away because our teachers just happened to be sisters, is that unusual or is it a coincidence? When my friend insisted that we sit with this guy from the other school in the Burger King where we had dinner on the way back. Okay. She was an extrovert and she liked talking to new people. So these could still be considered coincidences, right? But then when she got up for a moment to go get some ketchup and the guy turned to little old introverted me. And we had so much in common. And we talked for 3 hours straight on the bus ride home. And he had the kindest heart and the most infectious laughter of any guy I'd ever met except for my dad. And we've been married for 22 years now. Now that's alignment. No coincidences here. At least that's my take on it. So think of all the things that could have happened differently along the way. Think of all the ways we could have missed meeting each other. I do. So much could have happened because I was 16 when I met my husband and he was 18. We were both in high school, but they were different high schools, 70 miles apart. It could have happened so easily that we didn't end up together. And for that to happen, so many things had to happen in exactly the right way. And yet they did. And he's my soulmate. And I've never, ever, ever regretted any decision that led me to him. So that's just one example. And maybe you have a similar story in your life about something. Maybe it was a time when everything just seemed to go right for once. When all the stars aligned. Oh yeah, alignment. Hello, same thing. So maybe with you it was like a job that just came at just the right moment. Or maybe it was a friendship with someone who is super important to you. Or maybe it was a business opportunity that completely changed the course of your career and your finances. Or like me, maybe it was a romance. For me, it's the only and greatest romance of my life. Whatever it was, being in alignment changes us. It makes everything better. It makes everything feel possible. So being in alignment is what we want to do on purpose, to live a happier life and to pursue our dreams. And one of the steps you can do to accomplish this is to do what Abraham refers to as filling in your grid. And to fill in your grid, which basically means to prepare your mind to feel the way you want to feel more often, you simply make a list of how accomplishing your dream would make you feel. So that's the key. You imagine achieving your dream, whatever your dream is, and then in that moment when it comes true, what are the emotions that you feel? And warning, you're probably going to feel even better when it actually happens. When your dream actually comes to fruition, make sure you're sitting down, because it'll knock your socks off. And it's funny because no matter how much we imagine that dream coming true, when you come into true alignment, it's even better. So have you ever imagined something so magnificent for yourself? So amazing. But deep down, you just don't know if it'll ever happen because you've never seen it happen. It's never happened to you before. So part of you, it's that old primitive brain we're always talking about that starts to think, well, it hasn't happened before, so how can I believe it even exists? Right? Even though that doesn't make sense. We know there's lots of things that we don't see that exist. Like I've never actually physically seen $1 million, but I know it exists. Of course. But part of us, there's a big part of us that still doubts it. Even though we know logically, of course it exists. I mean, obviously, right? It exists. Just because I don't have it or I've never seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I've never seen London up close and personal, but I know it exists, right? There's tons of places out there that exist and are beautiful and are wonderful. We've seen pictures. We've seen them on television. We've seen them in movies. We haven't personally seen them, maybe. Maybe we have. But if we haven't, does that mean it doesn't exist? Of course not. There is such a thing, and this is really important with the law of attraction, that it's not seeing is believing. It's just the opposite. Believing is what is seeing. If you believe it, you will see it. That's how it really works. We've been told wrong all these years, right? But if you want to change your life, all you got to do is change it around. So I was that person in 2016 where I had imagined being a published author, and to me that would be the most magnificent, wonderful dream. And I wanted it to happen so bad, but I was a little afraid to hope for it because I didn't want to be disappointed. I was afraid of being disappointed. I was afraid of getting my hopes up. I kept working toward it though. So I wanted to be the published author, and I wanted it so bad that I wrote a novel, and it took me 10 years to complete the damn thing. It took lots of critiques from people who were more experienced than me, other novelists and other published authors, some of them best-selling. I took classes from best-selling authors again and again and again and again. I studied the experts by reading best-selling authors as much as I possibly could. And by doing all that, I made it happen. But here's the thing. Even after I signed the contract from my publishing company, it didn't feel real. Not until that box of books arrived on my doorstep did it actually feel real. And so I get the box. I set it down on a chair in my living room. I opened it and saw my books stacked inside. And seeing those books, my cover, my name, my title, I sobbed like a baby. Happy sobbing, of course. But it was a really good thing that I sat down. So create a vision of what your dream will look like when it comes true. Create it in every detail that you possibly can. See it absolutely coming true for you. Feels good, right? Imagining that coming true. Now, make a list of those good feelings that you're having right now, imagining your dreams coming true. Make it as long as you can, that list of emotions, but also make sure you actually feel the emotions you're writing down at the same time. Now, I'm going to share my list in a sec, but please know that for this to really work for you, it'll need to be your list. It'll be your list for you. Because we may not have the same dreams or want the same things. So it needs to be the feelings you want to experience and not necessarily mine. But that said, please feel free to use any of my emotions that I've listed if you think they'll work for you. Okay, so Abraham instructs that you need to think, say, and feel these emotions when thinking about your dreams for a full 68 seconds. That's why your list needs to be so long. It needs to go on for that long, 68 seconds. And thinking and saying and feeling good for that long helps to rewire and retrain your brain to believe that this is already a real thing in your life. It's kind of like when they talk about on The Secret, they talk about these athletes and they're preparing for whatever event it is they're doing. Let's say they're a runner running a mile, let's say, or a 500-kilometer run or sprint or whatever. And so what they did is they hooked up these athletes, Olympic athletes, to all these electrodes so that they could read their brain waves. And the amazing thing about it was they had them run their event that they've practiced for over and over again. They had them run it in their mind, just in their mind. So they're in a lab, sitting down, right, with these electrodes on their head, which is recording their brain waves as they run the event in their mind. And the amazing thing, if you've seen The Secret, you've already seen this, is that everything in their mind, their muscles still fired in their body. Everything, all the chemical compounds and everything still released the exact same way as they did whenever they were actually running the event. Because your mind, at least as far as their mind was concerned, as far as their brain was concerned, your brain doesn't know whether you're literally running it physically or whether you're just doing it in your mind. That is why visualization and imagining it coming true and having what you want in your life and actually physically imagining it as to the best of your abilities is so powerful, because your brain really doesn't know it's not real. You do. You're not your brain. But at the same time, it's a magical process. It's so powerful because it's basically training your brain to believe that this is the truth. And the more your brain believes that, the more likely it is to actually come true in your life, into your actual physical reality. Okay, so once your brain is prepared for it, it'll actually happen. That's why it's so important, And that's why, like, some people will put the law of attraction down and saying, oh, it's just a bunch of airy fairy stupid, be positive no matter what, blah, blah, blah. And they'll criticize it. And I understand why. And I get it. The thing is, it's not just that. But positive thinking is really important, because the more you practice thinking of yourself with what you want and feeling the happiness that you'll get when you have it, that is how you bring it into your life. So if you just sit around and you think, I want, and I don't have, if it's followed up by I don't have, that's going to bring negativity into your life, because then you're wanting it and you don't have it. And that's all you can think about. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'm broke, I'm poor, I need money, I can't pay my bills. If that's what you're thinking, I want money, and then you get frustrated because the money didn't show up, that's because you're thinking about it in the wrong way. All you're thinking is your want of it, your lack of it. If you're thinking of nothing but lack, then that's all you're going to get. That's how money works. That's how all of this works. That's how your life works. And most of us don't realize that. So if you want it, and you imagine yourself feeling the way it feels to already have it, that is how it happens. It's the positive, it's the good feelings that brings it into your life. And I'm not saying you don't have to work for it too, that there's some action that you'll have to take from a happy, good, inspired place, because there is, and you will feel that push to do that. But make sure you're feeling happy and inspired and good when you take that action. Because if you take that action from a place of desperation and whining, oh God, I got to go take this job because even though I hate it, because I got to make money and I'm going to lose my house and I'm going to not pay my bills, my car's going to be repossessed. And if that's where you're coming from, you're not going to get more money, because you're coming at it from a negative place of lack. Whereas if you're coming at it from, okay, I can see this happening. I'm making this happen. Everything is good. I'm making all my dreams come true. This is how it feels for my dreams to come true. And that's what you're focused on. You're not worried about the how of it. You're not worried about the exact process of how it's going to come to you. You're just focused on the emotion of it actually getting there, of already receiving it. That is what you focus on. Those good feelings, the ones that make you feel so high and so full of euphoria, that's what you want. So don't focus on the fact that you don't have it yet, literally. You're going to focus on what it feels like when you do. And the more you do that, the more likely it is to come into your reality. And not only likely, it will come into your reality. It's just a matter of time. You just can't stop doing it, right? You got to keep on keeping on. You got to keep on seeing that result come to you. And then it will. Okay? All right. So feel free to use my emotions if they work for you. And feel free to say the same emotions over and over again. That's totally fine. And I do that in my own list. So, my own personal list is for having a successful entrepreneurial business. Okay? All right, ready to make some magic with me? Okay, here we go. Having my own successful business feels stable, it feels freeing, it feels strong, it feels good, it feels solid, it feels joyful, it feels liberating, it feels delicious, it feels meaningful, it feels fulfilling, it feels real, it feels true, it feels right, it feels like me, it feels like who I really am, it feels natural, it feels joyful, it feels secure, it feels enjoyable, it feels like love, it feels beautiful, it feels satisfying, it feels abundant, it feels enriching, it feels connected, it feels like being led, it feels good, it feels exhilarating, it feels new, it feels novel, it feels exciting, it feels like I'm making a difference, it feels good, it feels strong, it feels positive, it feels concrete, it feels joyous, it feels meant to be, it feels miraculous, it feels incredible, it feels amazing, it feels happy, it feels glorious, it feels like a dream coming true, It feels awesome. It feels powerful. It feels great. It feels true. It feels real. It feels like freedom. It feels like joy. It feels actual. It feels gorgeous. It feels wonderful. It feels like ecstasy. It feels productive. It feels serene. It feels soothing. It feels calming. It feels peaceful. It feels relaxing. It feels natural. It feels good. It feels intuitive. It feels right. It feels true. It feels authentic. It feels real. It feels productive. It feels like moving in the right direction. It feels like me. Now, I said those pretty fast, so you may want to repeat your list more than once if it's not as long. But I feel super awesome right now after filling my grid, which is the whole point. This is how you want to feel. You want to feel high and euphoric and awesome and calm and good and all those things. You want to try and feel this good as often as you possibly can. Okay? At least once a day. At least once a day. Take the time to do this. Okay? And the more often you can the more often you can focus on this and feel this good, the faster your dreams will fly right into your arms. Doesn't feel like coincidences anymore, does it? That's because coincidences aren't real. So try this out. What is your dream? Share with us in the comments. Or if you're not sure what your dream actually is, I'd be happy to send you my Defining Your Dream cheat sheet. Just click on those words, that link, and that'll take you right to it. Or you can sign up for my newsletter and get it that way too. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up now. Take care. Live your dreams. Have a wonderful day, week, month, and year. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I appreciate every download and every person who has subscribed. I release new episodes every Wednesday and Saturday, so if you enjoy this content, please consider leaving a review. The more reviews fledgling shows like mine receive, the more visible it becomes on the various podcast stations. Each review helps, so if you enjoy what I've been sharing, please help others find this show by leaving a brief review. Thanks again for listening.